Super PACs, seven-figure checks, billionaire bankrollers, shadowy nonprofits. This is a state of play, and what will be the first presidential election since Watergate to be fully privately funded.
We're back to the era of secret money pouring into our elections.
Which, of course, includes redistricting or gerrymandering. That's the process that shapes and contorts districts to favor one party over another.
The hammer falls in a corruption investigation. 3 former state probation department officials are facing criminal charges now, accused of hiring politically connected workers who were not qualified for their jobs.
In breaking news this noon, former House Speaker Sal DeMacy has been sentenced to 8 years in federal prison for using his clout to steer 2 state contracts to a software firm in exchange for kickbacks.
I think that the system is broken in a very significant and profound way. It needs to be changed. 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 It needs to be changed.
There's no question that the system does need to be changed. But how can we change the system? The answer is simple. We must fight back. And that's what Common Cause Massachusetts does.
Common Cause is a way to really make a difference on those issues in a nonpartisan, non-political kind of way. I mean, one of the strengths Common Cause has always had is it's not Democrat, it's not Republican, it's basically for independence in the best sense of the word.
Well, I think Common Cause has a really superb reputation. I mean, they're here in the state. You know, there's many political organizations, but they don't have your local presence.
And having a partner that works with you, like Common Cause, it makes it easier for us to get to the finish line with the piece of legislation and get it on the governor's desk.
Legislators know that they have to deal open and honestly with the public, and if they don't, Common Cause will hold them accountable.
If you really look at Common Cause's track record over 40 years, and you look at what we've done even recently and what we are planning to do in the near future, it's an extraordinary record.
Common Cause helped end Massachusetts' long-standing tradition of gerrymandering. Common Cause waged an aggressive campaign from 2004 to 2011, collecting signatures, lobbying the legislature, and demanding an open, accountable process. As a result, Massachusetts received an A grade from the Center for Public Integrity.
We've obviously had a long history of gerrymandering in this state and in this country generally. So I thought it was a very important issue. I was very glad to see us take the lead on that, and if we hadn't, I don't know who would have.
One thing I've learned in doing redistricting is that it is personal for people. Politics is personal, where they vote, who they vote for. You know, I think we had 5,000 people give testimony in the hearings we've had. We've accepted maps from everybody. Anybody who wanted to give us a map, we accepted, and we analyzed them. And when we were drawing these districts, we actually used those maps to give us some guidance. So that's something we're all proud of. That's something we should be proud of as a legislature, and that's something the outside advocacy groups like Common Cause should be proud of, because they helped us do that.
Redistricting was a major victory for the people of Massachusetts, but the fight to ensure free and fair elections is ongoing. Outdated rules for voting and partisan tricks to restrict voting rights unjustly disenfranchise eligible voters and result in long lines. Common Cause is fighting back with an election protection program and with legislation to fix outdated voting laws.
Election protection is a national initiative that Common Cause Massachusetts took up here in the Commonwealth to help combat this concerted effort by partisan groups to suppress individuals, particularly minorities and elderly and young people's right to vote. We felt that this was a very critical fight to take up, and so we recruited hundreds of poll monitors in coalition with many other groups, both national and state-based groups. It's a really important fight to make sure that everybody, regardless of your race, your age, has equal access to the polls and can make their voice heard on Election Day.
For me, election protection is doing everything we can to make sure that people who are entitled to vote can vote. In Massachusetts, the last election, we had lines going as long as 3 hours. That is just outrageous and something that cannot continue.
Common Cause has been really the drum major, along with several other organizations, but a real primary mover in consistently saying we need to change those laws, and particularly in building support for a bill that I think is poised with luck to pass the entire legislature this year. It went through the State House last year to bring election audits to make sure our voting machines are working, to bring pre-registration to Massachusetts. These things are going to empower thousands and thousands of people to participate, and Common Cause is just doing amazing work along those lines.
But one of the greatest threats to free elections and open government still looms: the increasing flood of money influencing our elections and public policy. Common Cause is fighting for change through state and local resolutions supporting a federal constitutional amendment and through legislation to stop secret money in elections.
Well, we've got a terrible Supreme Court decision, which I think is completely unjustified. So where in the Constitution does it say that money is speech? I can't find it. I've read the Constitution 1,000 times. I don't find it. It doesn't say that. What Common Cause and some other groups are doing is just absolutely critical. And the reason Common Cause can do this is because it doesn't have a political axe to grind. It's not running people for office. It's trying to create a system that's fair, where people of modest means can, like Mike Dukakis, among others, can aspire to political office.
We no longer have free speech. We have expensive speech. And that has been codified in that very bad Supreme Court decision.
Several of my colleagues and I work with Common Cause, hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder, first to work on a resolution calling upon Congress to pass a constitutional amendment saying that corporations are not people. Fortunately, working with Common Cause, they had their own allies in the legislature so that we could build upon our vote tally and eventually got it done so that we could move on to other pieces of this that we wanted to address, like disclosure.
Well, we needed 200 signatures, certified signatures in every legislative district. It was a very popular cause, and people were very willing to sign onto our proposed amendment to overturn that Citizens United decision. Too many people don't do enough, and Common Cause is doing something.
Common Cause placed a question on the ballot of 1 million Massachusetts voters in November 2012. The results were overwhelming. 79% of Massachusetts voters want a constitutional amendment to overturn Citizens United.
I've seen so much progress from the world and, frankly, the country that I grew up in. But the price of liberty is eternal vigilance. And it's organizations like Common Cause that have to call us to that kind of vigilance and make sure that we work at this all the time.
Building a more perfect democracy is no easy task, but we've seen over and over how it can be achieved, one step at a time. But we must do it together, and Common Cause cannot do it without you. Join us.